Okay, we are going to make a report on our experience at the Addis Ababa PS workshop. But before I go into the workshop proper, since this presentation is going to be seen by all our officers nationwide, I thought I should just give a brief preamble on what, because some people may not have known the PS can be used for. So that's where I'll start from. Okay, a post-enumeration survey, otherwise known as PS, is a survey usually carried out after a census. Standard practice now says to be carried out and completed within 4 to 6 weeks. You should use a sample size that is large enough to measure coverage and content errors. The sample size should be representative. Ideally, small areas are sampled in a clustered design. PES should be conducted independent from them is operational. It should be independent from the census. So, what is PES not? A PES is not used to correct the final public census figure. It is not to quality check the census. You have M&E that does that. It is not a preference of all persons. It is not to correct enumerators' imputation errors. A PS will not ask questions on mortality, agriculture, labor market, economy, and environment. All these have already been asked in the main census. Previous years we used to do the questionnaires used to be extremely large because it included a lot of all these other questions. The modern PES goes straight to the point and doesn't ask all these things. It makes it smart and brief. So what are the common uses of PES? PES is a key source for data a key source of data for assessing census coverage. E.g., we want to know if people have been missed in the census. That is called under coverage. It can also be used to assess what is called over coverage. Have people been counted more than once? Have they been duplicated, or have they been incorrectly included? So we also want to know that the PS can tell us that. Then the PS can be used to verify accuracy of responses of some key census questions. They call them key demographic indicators such as age, sex, relationship to head of household, and education. So those are some key demographic variables that the PS will ask questions on that. Let us know whether they responded well to them in the census or how accurate were the responses. You always know that age is always a problem. Even sex sometimes can be a problem if it's not well asked. So wider statistical benefits of the PES. You can use it to enhance bias for annual population projection. You can use it higher quality, get higher quality population. That is weighted estimates from household. PHS now we have done the PS can like use like the two. Then we can use it as a in bias in household surveys. All PS activities can be cascaded and broken down into economic areas for the country. Then even the sampled LGAs that we use for the sample survey, we're not going to touch those areas or the MBAs that surveys can use as. So coming to the workshop was organized by the Office of National Statistics and United Nations for Africa. It convened for 4 days from 20th to 23rd of February at the Center in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. The names of the organizers: Oluga Daya, the director of the Statistics. These are the other. We had the last person was shared from Rwanda, Sandrine. These are the participating countries. There were 6 countries. Burundi, 3 persons each were selected. We have Burundi, Ethiopia, Nigeria, Gambia, and Tunisia. Gambia were our West African. And we can see that the countries that were selected here, they are small countries compared to Nigeria. So other parts of the workshop, we have our own, very own CTA was the professional attendee, aside data for development analyst attached to us at the UNFPA. Also, the chief technical advisor, UNFPA, attached to Burundi. So we are the workshop participants. Sorry. Okay. Is it okay? So proper introduction. PS workshop held in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia was convened to expose participants to best practices in PS taking as a means of improving our effectiveness and understanding methodologies and procedures for undertaking the PS. So the aim of the workshop was to acquaint participants all necessary information, procedures, and guidelines of PS taking to enable us on whether or not to conduct PS after the census. Experts from the now the Office of National Statistics UK and Institute for Statistics of Rwanda exposed us all to various aspects of PS, including the planning, methodology, and analysis. The workshop also facilitated peer-to-peer learning through case studies and best practices shared by the Office of Statistics in Rwanda and the Office of Statistics. So this report summarizes the workshop's key takeaways, methodologies, and techniques, and lessons that can be used to improve data output and transparency for nations in Nigeria. So attending the workshop sent us a comprehensive concept, also another document who and who is expected to be at the workshop. So in essence, all these objectives were the desire of conveners and intended to achieve in the 4 days. So we have not go to the objectives on this side. Key things were for us to understand PS, and learn the purpose, benefit, and challenges of conducting a PS. I think the assumption was that since we had not done a census, all those 6 countries are the modern census. So they assumed that we are just beginning to count here. But our opposite, because we had already done that, we had planned ahead to our census last year. So they just equated all of us and assumed that let them tell us, yes, let us know what it is and decide how to do it. So the second point was dependence. The workshop emphasized the importance of dependence of PS, design and collaboration between census and PS team. The point where census and PS team can collaborate is the point where traditionally PS has independent of the census. So questionnaire design and calculations, participants in designing and calculating appropriate sizes. And PS operations workshop covered monitoring data collection and activities. Data management and analysis, that is where the Nigerian team gained the most because they had already gotten proud of PS, on many issues of PS by a city who was gracious enough, not just himself, but to help us at different sensors and also do the. So we went there also with a wealth of knowledge. We were not as in all the other countries. So that was a plus for us. So, but where we gained most was in data matching and analysis. The participants learned about data techniques, automatic matching systems, and using PS results to analyze and estimate the coverage, their dissemination and network. The workshop encouraged sharing findings and building a network of professionals for ongoing support. Of the workshop is basically like explained in detail. These are just more details. That is, we introduce us to PS, the methodology, the operations, data analysis, result utilization, collaboration, and I've just explained all that. But one thing we need to note about this workshop is that because it was just called it, there was no real teaching. It was let us expose them, let them know how to go about, let them know that these are the processes so that by the time you decide you want to take a PS, you already know that there are no shortcuts, and these are the things that can be done. So the expected outcomes of the workshop organizer is also their concept notes. That is what they expect that every participant at the end of the workshop we have better understanding of what is required in order to carry out an effective PS. Effective, not just carry out a PS. We'll be carrying out PS in Nigeria. Was it effective? Was it used? Why did so the key word there is how effective PS that we will therefore be able to assess whether or not it is good use of resources to conduct a PS as part of the census operations. After that entails, you will now go home and decide with the amount of cost needed to do a PS, is it worth doing it, or can that actually be channeled into something better? Countries should go ahead, you have decided to go ahead with PS. I told them we are prepared to go ahead from that, right? Although we can later. We understand the steps that need to be taken and we aim for an effective PS. Lessons can be learned from that country so that mistakes made elsewhere will not be made repeated. Having been introduced to concept of automated marketing, but to consider how these techniques will be used to improve the use of administration aspects, and then improve working across partnership. That's how the collaboration. So this is the expectation from the organizers. When I went for the workshop, after I received the concept notes, the whole team met and read it thoroughly and picked areas that we already had knowledge, and the areas that we didn't have good knowledge, and we met our chief tutor, and we decided to discuss. He gave us valuable advice what to do. We brought up all our documents, all our documents. He also advised us to take math and things because they came to the workshop. They said we should our EAs, you know, and all those other things. Because useful advice, just go there and excel. So that was what happened there because we had the experience and he had tutored us well. So this was our own objective. I wanted to drive from the workshop. To ensure alignment with global best practice regarding our preparedness for the upcoming PS. You know, we had already prepared last year. We had done things, we had done a trial PS. No other country apart from Ethiopia had done in 2017. We never did a census at that time till not like us. So all this is how prepared were we? You know, have we put our chest that we are following best practices and that we are in line? So focusing on our PS methodology, sample design, linear design, and those are the things that we wanted to check. This is what it is. So this is to enhance the team's understanding of most PS procedures, including data collection and cleaning, matching, reconciliation, data analysis. So we wanted to acquire knowledge to advance techniques, those areas we are weak. Reconciliation, analysis of matching. Then we wanted to the various uses of PS as a result. After the PS, you have analysis and reporting that tells you corporate true population and things like that. So we wanted to know how best go after all this. How do we utilize them effectively to replicate census data and experiences? There were set criteria for personnel workshop. They stated in the concept note. So the three of us that went for the workshop, it was not just by chance. It was based on the criteria that was set by local people. So instead, the preparation for the PS workshop, a meticulous selection criteria was requested by through the concept note by the commission to prepare and guide selected selection workshop. These personnel should be executing decision and it's important that success of a PS. This one, if that workshop, but for we have to be a PS. Careful selection of individuals who can bring unique skill sets and experience to the table. So the first qualification was a leader, who have with experience in business operations and strategic serve as project director, providing leadership and ensuring achieves this objective. Second, with the technical experts, which out of the people Mr. Adele Ezekiel was selected, is possessing expertise in coding and algorithm development, serves as assistant coordinator in the team, and utilizes Python programming language to create matching evidence for The third person selected was analyst to statistician. Habib is like knowledge, advanced statistical knowledge, same survey methodology, responsible for analyzing data and extracting insights to valuable census and accuracy. And coincidentally, these selected national character about central me, POA, and so the selection was well balanced. So the following topics were taught. There are 4 days. These are the topics. I don't want to scroll through them. You can see them. Every day has its own topics. Like I said, it was information hub. There was no real teaching. There was hardly any hands-on. So these are. So on the first day, after teaching us what is a PS and exposing us to every aspect of the PS, questions were asked in a general class discussion. What are the pros and cons for you in your country conducting a PS? That is, are the positive things you feel that will achieve from a PS and utilize the resources well that you are sure you can undertake a. Then on the other hand, what are the cons that will stop you from carrying out an effective PS? So we brainstorm together as a team and give our own goals. So besides, post-elimination survey be used as a check on the census and can be used to ascertain a level of accuracy. With that, it will validate the census results and improve confidence in its outcome. One of the things of census say liable, accurate, reliable, and acceptable. So it helps to improve the confidence in the outcome, thus increasing the level of acceptability of the census. Be used as a baseline data for other surveys such as household surveys like DHS, VASA, UNICEF. It will also provide a means to improve methodology for this. For example, the census taking for this methodology, PDPS PS as a methodology for. So PS can bring up new methodologies that we content training methodologies for future censuses. These are the programs that yes, this is the benefits to utilize the resources that are. So what are the cons? Why we think that we may not be able to do an effective inadequate funding of PS budget and delayed releasing of operational independence. That's if kind of operational independence, there's interference in engagement of some qualified personnel, field operations, it can affect the outcome of the PS. Selection and management, particularly in Nigeria, that has a number of areas. I explained for them. If, for example, we all know we are having almost 600,000 in recent years, and if, for example, we pick a particular number that wants it for the PS, some people and some states are not selected. Some people will complain, no, why is my state not selected? No, why is my state not selected? No, the number is. But the key area we learned from the workshop is that the sample has to be representative. It doesn't have to be so big, and there's no fixed percentage. Like if you want 50% of the total number of areas. Everything depends on your country, your objective, what you want to achieve, and the amount of money you have for it. But the sample must be representative. So we don't have limited control over census timing, making appropriate scheduling of PS elimination timelines challenging. Therefore, the PS will not meet up with standard world best practices of conducting the PS within the first 6 of the census. Nobody thinks about the PS when they are fixing the census date. I appreciate that part of Nigeria is not. If you fix in November, it's because you're avoiding rain. If you fix in March, it's because you want to get before rain. So the census takes a bigger period. I appreciate that. We all appreciate, but that simply means that this PS cycle don't necessarily follow best practices. For example, you put the census 19th of November. And PS, everything about the PS field that decision must come for 6 weeks of the census. That takes us towards the end of the year. Even January, nobody does it all at that time. So by the time we are going to do our own PS, it will be outside the normal standard year. And they found out that after 4 weeks, people forget. So if we cannot have that control, and we are going to do our PS, probably do another season. If it's in March, to enter the season. Are we going to get the kind of results we want? We will be given the first presentation of what the census actually did. So these are things I want us to think about when we are going to answer the final questions at the end of the presentation. Then we also share post census and PS data matching. During matching, any match rates according to our CTA and work practice, just stop the matching there because it will tell you that your sensors will. So if you cannot achieve 80% match rate, then it's going further from that to do the PS results. So we are afraid, we are not sure because inadequate training, collection techniques, the errors in that linkage. This is not only referring to the PS, referring to both the sensors taking and the PS taking because you're going to be analyzing how they link, how they match. So if the sensors is well taken and the PS is not well, if the PS is not well taken, we have a problem. So everybody has to be on point. Training has to be, enumerators and data collectors have to be right on point, the right thing. By the time you're doing your matching, there's no stress and the things are aligned 80% above. If not, there's no point in the PS. So delays in an implementation of PS activities due to likely extension of sensors more enumeration. You know the sensors timeline, we are working back to back with it. Sensors go at our own. If sensors today has affected our time, so we don't have control of it. So these are our cons. Then uncertainty in the use of PS results resulting in assessing and adjusting outcome. We don't know as I'm standing here, sir. At the end of the day, once we have PS results, we have to examine it. Make sense. So that we know we're not going to just say that they did PS finished. Do we do it or not? So those are the cons. So my colleagues, we are getting three of us. Me, I was admin. One was for analysis. I'll still come back to the end of the report. So I'm going to call on Mr. Day to come and continue some of the.
Good morning, my census manager, Dr. Inuaja Lingo. Good morning, directors in the house. Good morning, deputy directors. Good morning, my senior colleagues. And good morning. My name is Benjamin Ezekiel Adeoye, and I'll be taking over from. Basically, I will just speak to the few technical aspects of this presentation. We didn't just go to Ethiopia for going sick. We went there for learning purpose. And yes, it was indeed a workshop worthwhile. We learned a lot from the workshop, and yes, the weather is as well good to come back to Nigeria. But we came back and then home is home always. So basically, we on day 2 of the workshop, we learned it was more like all presentations were the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa. We understood from their presentation that we are about rounding up the 2020 round of census. It's going to end in December 2024, which is this year. We were made to understand that if this round of census, then we are going to have to engage ourselves with the next round, which is supposed to end in 20. So the part of their presentations highlighted use of administrative data, investment in civil and statistics. From the experience shared by other countries such as Tunisia, while we were the administrative data, related by administration statistics, which they use to support their census. It's more like a validating tool for their census. So what we learned from this presentation is that if we are going to miss, perhaps we miss this round of census for this year, then if we are going to go into 2030 round of census, then in our district data, and we should invest more in civil registration and vital statistics. So, ESA also came, the people from the Economic Commission of Africa, they introduced some innovative tools that day too, and they made us understand that they have tools that can be used for census taking and as well as PES on tablet positioning, field monitoring dashboard application, census issue tracking system, census result dissemination toolkit, and then census project management toolkit. But in my own opinion, this is aside the presentation now. In my own opinion, we believe, or I believe, that even in Nigeria, we can we have the skill set. The presentations were wonderful, but looking at what all of the presentations all entail, we can as well do this in Nigeria. I think we're going to give our hands for the brains in Nigeria. So on day 3, the workshop, we were made to understand matching techniques. There are various tools that helps to validate the data from the PHC, which is population analysis, and the PS, which is post-generation survey. Remember, if you following my boss, she has rightly said that the post-generation survey is not to correct the final published census figure. So you should know that in as much as PES is going to gather their own information, enumeration information, as well as census, we're only going to put those two data sets and compare, see where we have content error or coverage error. So you should understand, have this at the back of your mind, that the PES is going to carry the census data and then their sampled area data and put it side by side. See which or who is missing or who has been undercovered or covered. All right. So to this, there are several things that helps beautify the presentation of this data. Of this data. All right. One of it is the introduction of data linkage. There are several processes to data linkage and methodologies, which is for integrating and analyzing data, emphasizing the importance of data integration and enhancing the quality. Now, in this process, are tools such as the clerical matching, which is crowd, the clerical resolution, online widgets. This will be used physically by clerical officers. So when we say we want to engage matching class, when we say we want to matching class for PES, you shouldn't find it as a mystery because the matching class will be using this tool to do human physical engagement. They will be engaged physically with the data to manually match the records that come from census alongside the one that came with that comes from PES. All right, and then there's another tool called Splink. They will be using Splink to do a probabilistic record linkage. Probably, what if this particular record is here and is not here? What if, when it comes to probabilistic linkages, you're dealing with what if Mustafa is Mustafa as spelled? What if Adam as spelled? Let me break it down. What if Adam in census is the same person as Adamu in PES? Do you understand? These are the things that Splink. What if? That's why it is a probabilistic record linkage tool. All right. And associative matching. They presented a tool called associative matching where it is also for record linking, where we share attributes. Now, this goes beyond the name. This goes into the age, the name, the sex. It goes into the educational characteristics of that individual. So you should know it is a lot of work to try to cross-check one person in census against one person in PES, covering over millions of data. All right. You should also understand that there is a tool called string comparators. String comparators. String comparators is a tool that is also used to compare. This time around, yes, you have data in values, right, in digits, but we are also looking at data in strings, names, in text. All right. Now, how can it's easy to do quantitative data analysis, but do you know how difficult it is to do qualitative data analysis? Because you have to do with text. The way somebody will spell Adam different from the way I will spell Adam. So my put E behind Adam. That is the way it sounds to them, right? So string comparators are tools that will be used to compare strings that statistically inclined to, such as the Levinshine, the Jaro-Winkler, and the Soundex. We're going to be doing a little bit practical, but if time will permit, on one of these tools, or maybe two of the tools. Errors in data. We were taught about errors in data. examination of common errors and issues encountered in sensors and PES data, including data entry errors, missing data, and inconsistencies, with strategies for identifying, correcting, and mitigating data errors. Yes, every data that comes into from the field into every server will definitely contain errors. If human fatigue doesn't set in, technological fatigue errors is also coming into this data. So we're taught on how to identify these kind of errors we might find in data, which also involves data cleaning as well. And then match key development. Overview of match key development processes is for generating unique identifiers of keys that help facilitate data matching and linkage between sensors and PES data set. This is also a tool to ensure accurate and reliable data record matching. So I'm going to quickly delve into quick practical. Now, I know a lot of you are looking at the screen and be like, "God, where did you come with mathematics?"
What I'm going to is different organization.
Okay.
You can go ahead in the
All right, okay. So I'll just give you a general overview. The formula you are seeing on the board have been programmed into Python algorithms. These Python algorithms, these formulas you see on the board is mathematical, yes, methodological, but they've been converted into Python algorithms that have been arranged in such a way that it will analyze the string data, the text, all right, and give you a good matching result. For example, if an enumerator spelled Mustafa correctly in sensors, and then PES is spelled Mustafa with an F in PES. All right. This formula can help analyze these two names, bring them together, pick out what was added and what was missing, or what is missing. All right. And then give you a result. Now, a 0.75 result indicates that at least this is a near match. All right. The same thing goes for the standard Levenshan edit distance method. The moment you look at this other two spellings, Mustafa and Mustafa, when you see 0.4, anything below 0.6 is actually no match. Anything below 0.6 is actually no match. So what the Python algorithm does is to highlight those those no match and then put it in another Excel sheet and then bring it back to us and say these persons we could not match. Right now, talking about the sound deck, another tool that was explained as a string comparison. Now, it takes your name, it takes the name that was supplied during the census and the PES, and then breaks it down, taking down the first letter, and then assigning numbers to all the other letters. That way, two names that sound similar. For example, say Adeoye and Adoye. That is Ade and Ado. The difference there is O. The sounders will bring what? Bring those two names together and try to eliminate where this possible error, and then bring those two matches together. So that's just an overview of what the matching technique is about. We have it all embedded as a Python algorithm, and then they work out when you import your data set into that algorithm. So on this note, I would like to pass down the presentation down to the two persons. Please, our own study methodologies, Madam one and only, and our statistical analyst. Please jump your hands together for Mr. B.
I wish to stand on existing protocols. Let me borrow CTA. I think I have only 4 slides to present, and I'm not going to take much of your time. That's what the CTA used to tell us. I'm supposed to present on the aspect of sampling and questionnaire design. I think my coordinating director, PES, has already said everything. We were well prepared before we left by our CTA. And by the time we reached Addis Ababa, we noticed that the whole story he told us was nothing and nothing but the truth. And so we were not surprised. Much of the training you had was just theory. In fact, we have achieved far more than what we are even expecting. will end there. Thanks to the commission. Thanks to our CTA. Please, can we? So, the sampling and questionnaire design concepts were based on the requirements to a successful PES, coverage estimates for census, which we were given the model questionnaire for England and Wales, and we saw the model questionnaire in Rwanda. I think there was one thing that was not mentioned by my CDPS and Mr. Joey. Rwanda's experience was high. But if you look at the Rwandan sample, the overall sample frame, the overall frame for Rwanda was 24,000 years, the whole of Rwanda. And the PAS sample frame was only 180. When she was talking about they were able to achieve the matching within 3 days, it is not surprising. And you cannot compare the dynamics, according to Mr. Joy, the dynamics of the matching of keys and then the strings in the Rwandan names with the Nigerian complexities. We made mention there, I think, that in Nigeria we have over 2,000 ethnic groups with varying types of names and nomenclatures. So matching those names is always a headache. But in the PES team, we believe we are equal to the task. And we have been working around the clock with our able director, coordinating director. We are able to relate with our developers. To a large extent, we are going to surprise all of you by the grace of God. Now, talking about the Rwandan experience, I think I've talked a little. We didn't have any trial PS. We were surprised. They said they didn't even know there was supposed to be anything like trial PS. They just went. But remember, as my CDPS said, we not only had a trial PS, we had a validation of the instrument PS. We had census had a validation of instrument in local government. We followed up and picked 2 EAs, a rural and an urban EA, and did validation with the assistance of the CTA, who brought us an expert to show us how we could be able to do the matching. So sampling percentage, Madam has already said it. They sampled 180, which is about 0.75% of the total 24,000. And the PS in Rwanda commenced and concluded within a 4-week window. Madam has already said it. Their matching technique utilize several techniques, as my other colleague has said. We have 2 basic techniques, the deterministic and the probabilistic process. The deterministic is the one that the algorithm wholeheartedly, without looking at any tolerances, and it matches. And you may have a very low percentage whereby you now have to resolve to the probabilistic concept of matching. When we go to the technical stations, we will explain this in detail. Then the field reconciliation. In fact, there was a heated debate about it's not a debate as such, it was a resistance. And our CTA was equal. We made them aware that reconciliation is part and parcel of the estimate. Let's give our CTA a round of applause because he made us proud. And they were able to accept at the end that yes, reconciliation visits, even though they did phone reconciliation in Rwanda, mostly they did phone reconciliation. They did physical reconciliation visit in Kigali, but the phone reconciliation we did it outside, and the percentage was very low. And it is because of the obvious challenges they have. And in Nigeria, I think what we are planning to do is going to be able to overcome these issues. Then the success rate, as I said, phone interview was at Rwanda. Now, the second to the last slide I'll open to will be the status of the Nigerian PES, which we presented there. We looked at what we were able to achieve in the PES. in the past. And then we look at the current situation of that thing we are able to achieve, and then we look at the next step. So for each of these 4 bullets, the validation of fieldwork instruments, we were able to do it in May 2022. Currently, we are planning another trial PES in line with the trial census to hold in April of this year. But the next step is that for the validation of field instrument, we want to review a review of PES methodology and instruments based on workshop experience from Addis Ababa. The matching technique, dashboard development, additional PES indicators and questionnaires. If need be, we have to then if we need additional indicators. And to try out data linkage process, like basically the new thing we learned that we are so proud of is the concept of precision and recall. And we hope to invite it in the country of the PES taking in Nigeria. Then for trial PES that we were able to do between October to November 2022, currently we have drafted a timeline and updated the PES instruments. And the next step, we are revisiting raw trial sensors and PES data for practice for all matching techniques. So we are going to use our data to experiment on the processes. Then thirdly, matching analysis and reconciliation visit of trial PES, which we were able to do between November and December 2022. The trial PES, currently the trial PES for June, we are wished, but we don't have anything beyond what we are. And then for reporting of the trial PES, which took place between December 2022 and January 2023, currently we have proposed dates for PES persons enumeration to be in February 2025. Now, the shared experience from the trial PES, we took along some maps. These are the 4 maps we took along on the advice of the CTA, and believe you me, the maps in the lasting impression on the participants. First and foremost, the sample selection. We were able to communicate our process of sample selection based on our own peculiarities in Nigeria. We shared the other audience. Then tablet provisioning. We agreed, as according to my colleague, that ECA presented provisioning processes, but we believe that the MDM provisioning system we had was equally sound, as my coordinating director has rightly pointed out. And then the map deployment, it was strange to them to hear that our EAs were geofenced, and even our buildings were geofenced. I think it's a great National Population Commission. Please give our section a letter, please. Then another innovation that we showcased was the historical events calendar for a nation. From the planning and research department was eye-catching. And we were about to propose addition to respect to the matching, so that we'll be able to seamless matching. And you have the displayed map. So on this note, all on this PP to give you the conclusion.
Just to add a word to the maps. All the other countries were small price states compared to us. And by the time we got out our map, everybody was like, what? How many census offices do you have? How are you going to control this? And we were able to tell them, even our tablet deployment and then map provisioning, tablet provisioning map deployment, have a map of cloud in less than 2 minutes. We're not going to start provisioning 100,000 tablets in 10 months or 10 months physically, but this is the way we do our thing. So it was a thing that they learned, and they are proud of us for that. Okay, the workshop has nice. It had quite some limitations. The first was time constraint. We all saw the objective, set objective, what they aim to achieve. But it was a 3.5 day workshop because on Friday we closed at, I don't know you and at the close at 1 and they didn't extend more than that. So because of that, we were only just getting information. We couldn't really explore. The only thing we explored the calculation was what Ben showed you, and it was just 1 or 2 examples. I told them that I carried my computer the way from Nigeria. I didn't open it once. Some people were using their computer just to take notes, but the idea was not to come and learn something and do some hands-on. So that's timing was wrong, which I told them then. Technical complexity. Some participants from other countries lack prior knowledge and expertise in statistical methodologies. Many of them didn't know about the PS. Only I think Ethiopia had done trial PS in 2017. And we gathered that time still was with them. And after that, they never did the same thing was up to now. So truth is that we were hearing it for the first time and we felt a bit bored because we had heard so many things. So that one, you don't bring 2 such people to a workshop at the same time. That's my own thinking. And I think it was based on their assumptions that because we had not done a census, we have not even started preparing for period. That's probably why that workshop went the way it was. Different level people knew about market, and then Rwanda was the only country that shared their experience. The concept note says that 3 countries will come, but only 1 country came to share experience. And apart from us and the Gambia, the rest were French-speaking countries. So I wonder how those people, I was speaking them because they were struggling to understand what was happening. And it was an English workshop, and even for them to express themselves, they were struggling. So that was one of the limitations of the workshop. So it's like, yeah. So absence of practical applications, I've already said that. We just had them in theory, time was short. I said, we didn't put that last one. Okay, another limitation that probably we have skipped it is their screen was extremely. Is that next one? Okay, let me not. Okay, let me go on. I'm sorry. So recommendations. Time slot for each topic, allowing for more focused and efficient discussions. Consider extending the duration of the workshop if possible to provide ample time for comprehensive exploration of all subject areas. Then addressing technical complexities, offer pre-workshop materials or online tutorials for participants to summarize them with basic statistical methodologies, analysis techniques, and census operations. Incorporate more interactive seasons and practical exercises during the workshop to reinforce understanding and application of complex concepts. Like Habib and can understand because they have a high level of programming. So tailor participants level, offer differentiated seasons or breakout sessions based on participants' level of experience and ensure content is relevant for all attendees. Provide additional resources or supplementary materials for participants who require further clarification or support. Enhance follow-up support. Develop workshop resources such as online forums, mentoring programs, or virtual office hours for providing ongoing support and guidance to participants as they apply workshop learning in their personal roles. Engage peer-to-peer collaboration and knowledge sharing among participants from various countries to facilitate learning and development. I think the ECA people are willing, and ONS are willing to do this. Follow up. If you ask them what you need and they can do it, they do it. Promote practical application. Incorporate more hands-on activities, case studies, and time examples into workshop curriculum to facilitate practical applications of learned concepts and techniques. Provide opportunity for participants to work on projects or assignments in the workshop and relevant to their matching techniques to reinforce learning. We actually went to our trial PS and trial data that we are trying to match for, but had challenges. We actually thought that we could use the data, even share with others, even if they didn't bring, and try to use all these different techniques to match it and see which one aligns best. But then that becomes our own follow-up to practice and see which of the techniques can collaborate together to say this is what Nigeria is going to use for our own material cases. So class screen projections, provide closed screen for participants in the workshop. This was a no for me because our table was towards the end, like at the end. And their screen was, if you cut this one where technical address complexities are, and then So it was two screens showing the same thing. Where I was, I couldn't really see. I had to move to the back. I was struggling with sight, only sitting because it was right in front. And even the Tunisians that were sitting at the other end of the table, people had to relocate because we were not seeing it. Even their feet was just beside here. We couldn't even see what they were writing. So I spoke seriously about it. That, and then you know what it is when you're in a workshop and you're sitting down for like 2 hours, and you're just turning your head one way like this. If you don't this, you're not seeing anything. So we were, our heads were just like this. So it was a no-no. That's it. Okay, lessons learned from the workshop. So moving forward, these are the lessons we learned that we feel that if you want to do an effective PS, you know, a superior survey, more content implementation, that is meticulous planning, execution, and total independence, that is operational. Clear statement of objectives and record and realistic implementation of time frame. We must state our objectives. Why are we doing this PS? Clearly. And then we must have realistic implementation time frame for it, which it may not mirror exactly what 2-4 weeks, but nothing takes up to that's completely out of it because of our peculiarity. Responsibility, respondents' ability to recall census related events, timeline separation between census and PS enumeration. Ideally, PS enumeration and reconciliation should take place between 4 and this date's timing is line. This 4 weeks and 6 weeks we are talking. So in our situation, how realistic is it? So availability of higher qualified personnel and other requisite resources. Effective training programs, let's cascade them that we should train excellently well. I want to say that the effective training doesn't only apply to the PS, it applies to the census. So both of them have to be for superior management and administration, well laid out organizational structure and adequate manpower and requirements. We've done all this. We finished all our handbooks, both for the census and enumeration, both for the field reconciliation. We've done all that. But that doesn't mean that it's perfected yet. So we keep reviewing and see areas of improvement. So 7, approval of a representative sample selection based on size and distribution. This is a place that we think that some people may raise head, but like we've already said, there's no fixed percentage. It could be 1%, 10% for some countries, it could be 0.01% for Nigeria. There's no fixed percentage, but most important is that it should be representative sampling across the country. So this is necessary, just as it is for the census, not that because the census has finished, we don't need it for PS. We need it equally as good, if not better for the PS. Independence between PS and census operations, an underlying requirement of dual system of estimation. So there's a stage that we can work together. We all know that both the census methodology and the PS are basically the same. We are using the same fieldwork techniques. We are using the same type of app, only that are only PS app. We're not asking all the questions, but our processes are similar. But when it comes to operational requirements, we have to be separate and also analysis for transparency. That one doesn't influence the other. Then careful commitment of PS implementation from the Commission and other relevant agencies such as the UNFP and other agencies that will support stakeholders and people that will support us. So we're coming to the end of the debate. So important. Does NPC really want to conduct a PS after the upcoming census? For us, management answer, and even the Commission itself. How will the Commission utilize the PS data for census data users and thus make the census count? You know, our motto in the PS is that we want to make the census count. We want to make it acceptable. We want to make it reliable by saying that the PS was well taken and the analysis will show that the census was well taken. So how are we going to utilize the outcome of the PS for census data user, that is to match with the census in such a way that everybody will nod their head and say, oh, the truth, this census was not taken, and then that will make the census count. Then will the Commission use the PS outcome to adjust the census results if need be? That's one of the uses of the PS, to adjust census results. Are we going to do that? Then will the Commission release census results before the PS is fully completed? We know what we do in Nigeria. After a few weeks, they will release preliminary results. And then if you come and do the PS and you find a lot of discrepancies, how can you go and tell a place you have told they have this population that because of the discrepancy we have adjusted and brought down their population, cause crisis in the country? From the experience of the UK who conducted their census in 2021, they say no census results is released until after PS is complete. And after about a year, when they would have been able to compare them and do the necessary things that are done, that the PS is meant for. What the results is released. But in Nigeria, I know people have already started telling me, even last year, that they did a digital census that they do. In 5 days, it's not supposed to come out now. And I told them that it's not INEC. So that is people's mindset. Even people in high places, they expect that digital should be said that as it's coming, entering the server. Some people don't even want to be counting the population if you are large on the server, on the dashboards, and telling you that after 15 years. But census taking is not like that. It's a process and it takes time. So these are some of the things that we need to discuss with top management and other people. So will the commission release census results before the PS is completed? If it's going to release it, then why are we doing it? All these questions selected above require answers from top management of the commission, which will then determine whether or not it is possible to conduct the PS and thereafter guide its operations. Appreciation. This workshop provided a valuable opportunity for the team to learn more about PS technologies and techniques of other countries such as Rwanda, UK, and others. We'd like to express our appreciation to the NPC leadership chairman and director general for supporting the team to attend. Our able CTA, Dr. Collins and Ms. Meg Edison, Director of Population Management, for support, sharing of expertise, and facilitating participation respectively. NPC staff, our able director of the department, Mrs. Ngozi Arukwe, our national EA data coordinator, Mrs. F.Y. Adebayo, for providing essential maps that made us shine at the workshop. We are the only ones that brought maps. And our able CM, Dr. for his constant support. Yes. We also appreciate workshop organizers in the chiefly of awareness, of excellent organization and knowledge sharing. Other facilitators and participants who were present from six countries for sharing experiences and knowledge. Thank you. This is Rachel. She's the worker of the night. Yes, and maybe on the other side is Rwanda. Sandrine. Mr. Habib, he was the one and only of Mr. Habib in Rwanda. So I was just, I said, These were just other official recognized Mr. Taiwo, our data analyst. Some other. Can you see their screen? This side. Can you see what their screen looks like? Can you see the city at the other side? Thank you.
Thank you very much, PAs always. They don't fail to show us that they have a teamwork work. And you can see the presentation was shared. That's very well. So as usual, we'll start, but because I also tried to find out the roll call from the states. How many states actually?
They are not responding. Taraba, Plateau, I know.
We want to know the roll call from the state. Because I believe that this presentation is supposed to be looking for the states.
Seated here, but notwithstanding, the state are our greatest link to the field. So I would love a situation whereby all of them are part of this presentation. So we'll welcome questions and comments from the floor, and we'll take it before we return to this table. Thank you. Okay. Maybe the team can take notes. Let all have all the questions. It's all.
Thank you. And thank you so much for the presentation. And in fact, I didn't like the fact that I came late to join the presentation because like I missed a lot. But then I have a question, two questions, and that is one. It was said that the question was fine, but it was said that the PES altogether after the matching and everything, the report is to adjust the census, to make the census count. The question is, if to show that the census is reliable, what if at the end of everything, it shows us that the census is not reliable? The census that was done was not reliable. What and how is the PES data going to stand in to help or to save the situation? That's one. Then two, yes, I think when as at the time I came to the commission, then there are many times when we do not have data sets, so when we need to do some estimation, get some estimation to do some analysis, we normally fall back at I think that that time they were like, let's fall back at some data set that was later done after that 2006. There was something that we had to go back and get back some data. So sometimes we fell back at those data sets to estimate or do some calculations. Now, with the data set of PES be made available for all this kind of our estimation and because most times we need to, especially for the analytical reports, most times when we are doing the analytical reports, I'm sure PES data will be very, very useful in helping us to fall back to when there is need be. So all these things with the data be made available, and how can we actually learn from using the data to help us in some estimates? Thank you.
Question?
My question is, if the PES is supposed to transmit the census data, what are the measures put in place to make sure that the PES itself is not flawed?
Of course,
It's a very good question.
very, very good question, because how do we know that the PSC that is being done is good?
Maybe team that went that I don't expect anything less from any project that was packaged on that 2 days of technical advice. Expressing it here. Someone briefed by the coordinating director, not questions for a presentation. The questions raised towards the end of the presentation. Which gets from that additional questions that we raised at management level or even at the commission level. Because if those questions go out, they might cast aspersion or create doubt on the usability of the PES by the National Population Commission. Two, I heard one of the presenters talk about their plans to do some, review and stuff. I think the PES team should slow down. Some things, some developments have happened. I'm sure the CM has briefed them. The CM is coordinating a leveraging between the NPC and NIMC. So some methodological adjustments are going to come to play in the system. So that plan should be on hold for now. And also, the CM is aware we have been getting requests from several ministries and parastatals on additional questions to the questionnaire. So that again, we are going to take up in a review of census instrument. He just passed another circular to me yesterday on one of them. The chairman gave me one. you. And again, we're even having complaints, even from commissioners of the commission, that the questionnaire is too bulky. I was on the firing line and I had to be rescued by my boss and my father, the chairman of the commission himself. And he said, we'll do additional tests. So we still have a few things put in place before this system is perfected. But no, way is to check content and coverage errors. Is that clear? Is to find out where the content, properly content, in line with the requirements of the census. And furthermore, to check, was there adequate coverage for the census? Nowhere in the world has any PS invalidated a census, and Nigeria will be first. The key thing, like the coordinating director said, is to ensure that as we are preparing, the preparation right from the census process is done well and continued into the PS stage. And this is happening under the supervision of a very competent, erudite, epistemological, ontological gentleman, Dr. Connie. Right. Thank you very much.
Okay, before I hand over to the CTA to conclude this, I wish I can stand up. Let me stand up. Yeah, we that have been part of this system, 1991 census, 2006 census, we know how the PAs were treated. And this time around, we know how prepared the PAs team are to do the job. I can tell you, implementing this census, I wouldn't have cared if all of us go on this table and we leave you people to implement the census. You will implement it. My only fear for you is that practical field experience. Practical field experience. How many of you, if we leave behind, have ever done a census? Apart from that, I can tell you your competence. You are Benjamin. You can see he can be a market to the world after the census, and so many other people around the homes that we have tutelage. So the capacity is there. It's just the actual field practicals, and that is one of the greatest missing link. If all your directors continue to retire, they are retiring by the day. Tomorrow we have even one retirement. So that's my only concern. But seriously, apart from that, I think we have built a lot of competencies. Then recasting on our previous PES experiences. In 2006, I can remember we went to the census. We were all tired. We had several challenges finishing the census. And not only us, even the state offices, the state controllers, everybody that is involved. And we had a package again to go back immediately for a PES. That we know that there are a lot of gap in terms of preparations, in terms of everything, even field monitoring. We all felt we have finished the census. Why this PES? So we went to do the PES just like we did it. Is that clear? But this time around, you have a team that has been meticulously trained, tutelage, and they have all the capacity. We can sell them to the world, I can tell you, because there is nowhere they can go and people will tell them that they know better than them as far as the PS team we have in-house. So what I'm trying to say is this: why I stood up is to talk to all of us seated here and also those of our colleagues listening to us. We have done so much for this census, whether we like it or not. But the onus is on the same all of us that are seated here. Are we going to do the right thing? You can see how even spelling somebody's name will create a mismatch in the census. Are we ready to tell our enumerators to spell the names of people well? Are we ready to tell our enumerators, is that clear, to take the information correctly, the age of the respondents? In fact, if I remember how our senior colleague, Mr. Arukwe, not the Mrs., suffered in 2006, when technology was not available. he has to create Excel sheets. You know, creating Excel sheets, building, how many building match, how many individual match, how many, all these categories were created by Excel long forms, which we took to the field to ensure that we did that. But when we go, we don't want to say it. Is that clear? And it is the responsibility of all of us that are seated here. We tell our communities that they can cheat in the census and go away. You understand? We help our villages to cheat. We help everybody to cheat, that they can cheat and go away. And we all know that it's not true. So it is for us to start telling people that the census we're implementing is different. Now, even for the matching, you have software that can match, not manual, not like the forms that were created by my senior colleague in 2006. These are programs and software that can match. We all know that for you to do a good census, is that clear? For you to cheat in a census, you have to be a better professor than Dr. Collins. So data is something that we see. I always tell people, and I mean it, having worked in the DPC in 1991 and 2006 census, I can detect questionnaires, at least out of 10, I can detect manually 8 that you have cheated. So talk less of the matching and all these things. So let us try and educate our people. Let us educate the Nigerian people that the census we are doing is different. As we are enumerating, we can see all these dashboards that we have created them. We have created the number. If you are adding building in the building number and household listing, we are seeing the number of buildings that you have added. The fourth stage is to match the buildings, match the households, match the individuals. Then you match the demographic characteristics of the individuals. Tell me if you don't do a good job. And you can see that the parameter set is 0.7%. Is that clear? So anything that is 0.6 is rubbish. So I cannot tell you where all of us will be if we implement a wrong census or a bad census for the country. I don't want to imagine. But not all of you should think of where you should be. You understand? Me, I don't care. Probably by that time, I've lived 60 years of a good life. I can take my Quran and enter there and continue to pray. So, until God takes me. So, but let me tell you, it's a serious, and that is why I stood up seriously. You can see the investment. Forget about the investment. Even we lost colleagues here. We lost colleagues during the EAD. We lost a lot of, forget about the resources. Our colleagues are kidnapped, including the commissioner in this commission. So that's why we don't have any reason not to put a good census. And that takes me to the question she has asked. I don't want those questions to be asked. Rather, they should be implemented. As the lead of PES, you must tell us that the census results should not be released until we validate it with this. Is that clear? That is it. And I can tell you, standing on this podium without any fear of this thing, the commission has never, since I assumed office as the census manager, anything we took technically, the commission has never turned down on our technical submission. My colleagues are here. So I don't think this is going to be an exception. As long as it is a technical issue, it's not for us to ask questions whether the commission did. We tell the commission this is the best practice and let it be implemented. Is that clear? Because we have built a career over the years, so we have to deliver on this census. I'm just telling you, even if we are here, that the census, we all have to individually at our lowest level, from your own household, tell your community, especially those of us retired, that definitely if you go and cheat, you are going to misdo your state, you are going to misdo your community. We cannot sit down and see wrong data and pass it. We can never pass it. Even if it is from I don't even know the number of enumeration areas in my state, even if you are going to kill me. I don't, and I don't want to know. Talk less of my local government areas. So let us just stand up to do the right thing. So these PES, we are going to use it to the letter. We are going to use it to the letter. So that is just that. So I want to commend the team for doing a good job. And I think I took one note. Just give me my. So if we are going to do this job, we have to do it very well. The most important thing we know is that the PES team are well trained. And because of the sheer numbers and all these things, they're able to train their enumerators better, they're able to do. So this is where I want us to do with the census. Is that clear? And we can only train the census because of the sheer number to ensure first and foremost are the right people recruited. Is that clear? And this is something that all of us need to stand up to. Is that clear? If you are a state director, if the right people are not recruited, will you be bold enough to say that I cannot continue that the right people are not recruited for the census, for my local government, for my state? Is that clear? Because as long as you did not recruit the right people, how can they spell the name correctly? How can they get the age correctly? So all these things. So in a digital census, it's just going to be garbage in, garbage out. So we all have to stand up to credibility. That is just that. And if we all stand as technical people, as credible people, definitely there is no amount of pressure can change that.